What is going on, dudes? It's Deadbolt here, and today we have a Salmonella video. I'm a huge fan of Salmonella and all of his videos, and he was actually gone for 2 years. It felt like longer, honestly. And he just uploaded another video like a month ago, and I've been meaning to react to it because, you know, I love his videos. I just kind of forgot that happened. So, yeah, and I've already seen just about every other one of his videos, so reacting to those, you know, something that I already seen. I didn't want to do that, but now we got something that I haven't seen. He really just left for 3 years and came back like nothing happened. What a legend. I love that one. He just kept eating stuff, and then he died, and like his stomach was like like his esophagus was super small, and you could like see into his stomach. It was crazy, dude. But already, Where Animal Scientific Names Came From by Salmonella, and I'm not subscribed yet on my account, but I am on my personal, and I just subscribed on this one too. And I recommend that you guys do the same because these videos are awesome. They're extremely funny. Let's get into it.
Hey kids, I just woke up from a nap I took in January of 2020, and boy are my arms tired. Let's see what I missed. Queen's dead, war in Ukraine, the Taliban's back.
Nice.
Holy shit. They made a movie called Scoob.
They did?
Unprecedented global pandemic, Space Jam 2, some popular guy named Brandon. Yep, that just about covers it. Anyway, we all know about the scientific names of animals,
Brandon?
but did you ever wonder what they actually mean? To find out, we must look to taxonomists. They're the guys responsible for the systems of nomenclature we use to classify organisms.
I remember that one.
Boy, are they convoluted. First, you got the big 8: domain, kingdom, phylum, class,
Oh
order,
yeah, all
family,
that.
genus, species. I've seen
Remember
plenty
that shit
of
in
mnemonic
biology.
devices for this, but since the D just showed up in the 90s and is still disputed by some scientists, he's usually not included. So allow me to suggest a few. Dizzy kids puke cereal on fairground staff. Dumb kittens pushing cups over feeds growing spite. Donkey Kong's fucking serendipitously. The way this whole thing works differs slightly depending on which kingdom you pick. So today we'll be sticking to the animal one, cause that one's the coolest and I'm in it. So what constitutes each taxon is pretty arbitrary. They basically just serve to act as another set of branches in the tree that taxonomists build. The one exception is species, which is generally defined as any group of animals that can have babies with each other that aren't sterile freaks. Mule, liger, zedonk, skunk ape, they can live fulfilling lives, but they're all shooting blanks, so they don't count. On the other hand, in our innumerable trespasses against
That's
God,
crazy.
we
I
can
wonder
make
why that
things
happens.
like chidanes, which actually work. So dogs
What?
are dogs are dogs. Besides species, though, it's the
It's probably, well, just a little tangent. I feel like dog breeding is out of control and should be regulated to a certain extent, just so that we don't get dogs that can, you know, barely breathe from birth and don't have shortened lifespans. You know, there's some dogs that only live to like 7 years now because of the way they were bred and stuff, you know, but that's just me. Just saying, just putting my 2 cents in that.
Wild West in here. Plenty of times, 8 tiers isn't even enough for scientists, so they just stick new sub-levels in between. Legions, cohorts, tribes, series, divisions, and if you want to keep going, you can throw all kinds of prefixes on any of these for even more layers. There's even subspecies, which the more pedantic of you may think to yourselves that creating names for subspecies at all kind of undermines the single somewhat agreed upon definition in the whole tree. To that, my friends taxonomists say, But while that's pretty complex, the actual names themselves are pretty easy to wrap your head around. Though taxonomists may hide behind their fancy Greek and Latin, the Vulgate is no substitute for wit. Now, I've scraped through the scientific names of a load of species, and most of them can be split into a few categories. The simplest ones are the animals that already have names in Greek or Latin. It's a lion, I'm calling it Leo. Done. Tiger, it's a tigris. Cat, it's a catus. Easy. Multi-word names can be translated the same way. For the golden eagle, we got Aquila chrysaetos. Gold eagle. They decided to be a show-off and do eagle in Greek and Latin. Essentially the same though. But if a species is too specific or exotic for a one-to-one translation, that's when you gotta get a little creative. A lot of the time, inspiration comes from just giving the creature the old once-over and pointing out some cool-looking body part. Generally, the more distinctive an identifying feature it is, the more likely it'll get in the name. For example, Homeboy took one look at this thing and said, "Yup, Red triangle slug. I'm going on break. We call this
Fuck
thing
it.
a fucking unicorn, almost like that means one horn or something. Also, some guy deadass looked at an octopus and said, well, all they got is heads and feet. I'ma call them headfoot. And now biologists everywhere say cephalopod unironically. Matter of fact,
Bro.
if it's got feet, chances are that's part of its name somewhere. You got 4 feet, 6 feet, 8 feet, 10 feet, 2 feet, equal feet, both feet, double feet, stomach feet, lip feet, sucker
Stomach
feet,
feet.
big feet, slow feet, or feet,
You
both
say
feet,
dick
joint
feet?
no feet, 10,000 feet, cow's feet, spade feet, cat feet, small feet. If it doesn't look that interesting, another thing to point out is where you found it. This could be a territory like American bear or Siamese
That'd be
crocodile,
like
or
chubby.
just a habitat like woods macaque or toilet rat. But that's boring. We need to look at the men behind the
Bro.
magic. And what?
Speaking of fucking rats, my dog found I guess, apparently, this is a story from my mom, coming from her. He found a rat in the garden, and he chased it down and caught it, and then proceeded to rip it apart and then eat it.
Perfect! Yes, this will really tell people.
Now, I don't know how to feel about that, because my dog Max, he's usually very chill, and he's like the friendliest dog you'll ever meet. And it's just crazy to think that he just said, you know what? I'm gonna commit a graphic murder, a very violent, brutal murder today. Alrighty.
What drives and motivates them? Now, if there's one thing that the scientific community loves, it's clout. And there's no better way to go down in history than plastering your own name on some shit you found. But not all fields have the same volume of things to scribble the old John Hancock over. On the one end, you got physicists just making up their own slightly different form of ionizing radiation measurement. And even then, only the top dogs got away with it. Now, zoology, any little goober flouncing through the underbrush can say, this one has 13 spots, but the one in the book's only got 11. I will call him Splinkus's ladybird. Alternatively, plenty of biologists have given shout-outs to their contemporaries, both other biologists and those across the academic gamut, from geologists to physicists to explorers and more. Naturally, Darwin's got a shitload, but even the background characters get immortalized one way or another. Who are Thomson, Grant, Summering, Erlanger, Speke, and Cuvier? I don't know,
idea.
but they've all got gazelles, so they must be pretty cool. Of course, other times, the name checks go to people who had fuck all to do with anything except for one taxonomist being a fan of theirs. Plenty of popular celebrities have species named after them, but since all the big cute stuff was found and branded a while ago, most of these idols are commemorated through repulsive little invertebrates. You got Scaptia Beyonce. The only similarity I can gather here is queen bee. It looks like a bee, both not a real bee. There's Anomphilus gregarius, an old stone named after an old stone. In 2007, one Jason Bond, a professor of biology at UC Davis, dubbed this little dude Myrmecia Neil Youngie to honor his favorite musician, which caused my man Stephen Colbert to go on TV and profess his utter indignation at not having a spider named after himself. So naturally, the next year, Bond actually went on the Colbert Report to announce the naming of apostachus Stephen Colbert. So, if that gives any of you epic biologists out there any ideas, I wouldn't be opposed. Please, I would do anything. For the love of God, I'll even take a lichen. The world of politics is by...
That's crazy. I would totally want an animal named after me. But it would have to be like a cool animal. It can't just be like a freaking microscopic thing or like a bug. It'd have to be like a new species of tiger, that can get my name. It's like a, like a freaking water bear or like a new species of cricket, It's like, well, I don't know, call him freaking Crippy. I don't fucking care.
By no means immune to this phenomenon. Obama alone has fucking 9, as do a load of other presidents. Trump's got a moth with funny hair, Bush has a fungus beetle, Reagan's a wasp, Carter's got a darter, and so forth. Even Austria's most famous painter got the honor through this blind cave beetle. Mind you, it was 1933, so you can only blame the guy a tiny bit. Hitler actually wrote him a letter saying, oh, thank you, my little entomolomensch, and then went on to do, Hitler things. Fun fact, not only was this beetle stuck with just about the worst name you could have, it's also now facing extinction solely because of its value to Nazi memorabilia collectors.
Oh my God.
Old habits die hard. Fictional characters have their fair share of species under their belt. On the topic of evil beetles, this one's named after Darth Vader because he kind of looks like his helmet, I guess. This was actually named by the same guy who did the Bush one and belongs to the same genus. There's also this mite, genus Darth Vader.
Oh my God. See, that's what I'm talking about.
Accurate and frightening. In 2012, a single bone from above the eye socket of a hitherto unidentified theropod dinosaur was being studied. And suddenly, under the light of the full moon, the guy working with the specimen had his neck covered with hair and his lips clenched into a pog and his endocrine system filled with soil. soy, and he said, "It's just like the eye of Sauron." And then he started chewing on Funko Pops and sweating cream of meme and snorting G Fuel and shitting D20s everywhere until the prostate stimulation made him. The dino's genus is now Sauroniops, from Eye of Sauron.
At least he had a good time.
Was named after Godric Gryffindor because it looks like the Sorting Hat.
Oh, okay, I can see that.
Sponge, but a fungus. The legendary
That's bullshit.
Pokemon each have their own, you guessed it, beetle, and the list goes on. Scientists are nerds. Who knew? Anyway, while this all...
Isn't that like copyright infringement? Like you're naming a real life bug after something like it's copyrighted material because it's on a show, especially a Japanese show, and they're like really like stingy with their copyright, material and their copyright laws. I mean, I guess like it's not like Pokemon can sue me. Like if I had a kid and I named it Zapdos or freaking Pikachu even, they can't sue me for that. But when you're naming an entire species of animal, something that's copyrighted, is that, I mean, I don't know how that works. It sounds like something that would eventually get you caught up. Like, you know what I mean? It's like having one of those non-copyright free songs on YouTube. Like years later, you get a copyright for that song because like, even though it was a long time ago, they copyrighted it now. So now that song is no longer non-copyrighted. It's complicated, but it sounds like the same kind of mess you would get into.
All seems kind of
but
chaotic.
I don't know.
There is some method to the madness. One rule is the principle of priority. This states that once somebody publishes their chosen name for a species for the first time, that's the name, and other taxonomists typically can't change it. This has led to plenty of misnomers coined by whoever got their foot in the door first, particularly in the case of the guys doing this stuff before we had the luxury of genetic analysis. Here's one. Red panda? Nah. Shining cat, coined in 1825.
That makes more sense.
They're actually about as close to cats as they are to actual pandas, so whatever. Here's two. Capsicum chinense. Eaten there?
They're more like
native,
friggin' raccoons, honestly.
Where literally all hot peppers came from. This principle holds true even if someone thinks they found a new species, only to later discover that it was already named. For example, in 1824, one John Edward Gray documented the plain zebra, calling it Equus burchellii, or Burchell's horse, named after a renowned naturalist of the day. Little did he know, back in 1785, some other douche classified this character as the quagga. The last quagga died in a Dutch prison in 1883. So, why do we care? Well, in the 2000s, scientists decided to scrape some gunk off a dry quagga pelt and study its DNA. And from that, they realized, wait a minute, apparently this guy and zebras could have, made a little plaid in the hay together. So technically, they're one species. And today, they're both called quagga. Sounds kind of asinine, but then again, so does asinus, and that worked out fine. Just to maintain the distinction, the extinct subspecies was renamed quagga quagga, so you know it's the real quagga. This double naming convention has been done with a lot of subspecies.
That's so dumb.
Fact. Wild horse, spotted panther, or my favorite.
At that point, like, can a zebra and a donkey mate? Because I know they're like really similar. They're practically like the same animal, just different colors. Like, can you just call donkeys quagga? Like, is that genetically, can you like stretch that to that? Because you're already reaching with the other one. It's like, yeah, it's a extinct species of it, but also there's already extinct ancestors of other animals and they don't have the same names,
Gorilla. Just like, yeah, it's the grillest gorilla that ever grilled. Fuck you want from me. A closely related rule also states
that the gorilla is the Gorlliest Gorllia that's ever grilled.
So two people coincidentally name any taxon the same thing. The older one gets to stay and the new one gets the boot. Like if you saw a genus called echidna, you'd think it was, an echidna, right? Well, no, that'd make too much sense. For a while it was true, from 1797 to 1811. Then it was pointed out that someone else already called a genus of moray eels echidna back in 1788. So the real echidna had to be changed to Tachyglossus, or quick tongue. Then a decade later, a dude did the same thing for a genus of vipers. Another 22 years passed, people discovered the same thing, and they were renamed to Bitis, cause they bit us. That one at least made a bit of sense, given that the original echidna from Greek mythology was half lady, half snake, but who cares at this point? Anyway, I've just barely scraped the surface of all the goofy names out there, so feel free to post more down below. That's all I've got for now. Till next time, I'm Salmonella, and I'll see ya in 2025.
I was just about to say, okay, I'll see you in another 2 years. Oh, that's refreshing. Oh my god.
Donkey Kong's oh, fucking serendipitously.
I had to rewatch that, I'm sorry. I'm genuinely afraid that he wasn't joking when he said he'd come back in 2025. Oh my god. I love this channel. This is amazing. His videos are always good for a laugh and information that you didn't know before, It's the good old double whammy. It makes learning fun type stuff, So yeah, if you're ever bored and you want to learn something and also laugh at the same time, just check out Salmonella. You'll definitely find a video that'll interest you. The Tale of Survival, that's probably one of my favorites, honestly, from his, or pre-surgery. Oh my god. I think that's the one where I learned of lobotomies for the first time before I watched the other video. Like, that one was more in depth, but like that one was just crazy. That's when I was like, fuck. Oh, dude. I like that one too. God damn it. He has so many videos. I'm probably going to rewatch them after I finish this video, honestly. But yeah, make sure you support Salmonella so he doesn't disappear again. But alrighty, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're greatly appreciated, I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay safe, everybody. Bye-bye.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there ain't no coming back. Wanna take a run at that. I think she's feeling me, turn it up a few degrees. My imagination of her body gets the best of me. Oh gosh, she's such a tease, bitten lips, bruised knees. I'm addicted to her, need her touching me, cause she got a bad little waist. And we tearing down this place, off the liquor that we chase. Got some egos to the face, baby, I don't need no space.